This video is designed to give you a clear inclination in where you should be spending your time if you want to build a multi-million dollar business. This is the exact same structure I've used myself to actually create a multi-million dollar consulting company and have helped 400 plus agency owners, coaches, and consultants actually dial their time in so they can get the most cash per hour that they absolutely can, so they can get the best team in the world, get themselves out of the day-to-day, and scale a company they actually love working in, with people they love working with a team they love doing it with at the same time. This small recording is something I did with my clients earlier this morning. Thought it'd be really helpful to chuck up on here and have you guys go through it as well. Enjoy it. See you guys on the other side. One of the most commonly asked questions that I typically get from almost everyone I ever work with, not just clients, team inclusive, is how to fit everything into my day and still be able to make money and serve my client at the same time. And one of the, I guess, how do I describe this? I had never realized that this was a skill and a daily structure process that actually makes a big difference. And then when I started digging into other people's, I guess, daily structure, like it was really fucking clear to me why people were not winning and making the amount of money that they actually wanted to make. We work in internet marketing, right? No matter what we do. And I think that if you think about the internet, the more time you spend at a computer, the more money you'll typically make when it comes to working in the internet marketing world. And I think that if we spend time in the wrong places, we will typically not make the money that we want. And if we spend more time in the places that actually make us money, we'll typically make significant more money. One thing that I want to run through with you guys is like, I've got an SOP to share, but as you guys are going through this, like pad and pen, like write down where you guys are spending your time or where you should be changing some of the stuff you're doing right now for the highest leverage for you to make the most money and sign the most clients, or just the one or two things that are actually going to make a difference for you guys. If you just change one or two things in your daily structure, this, if you take it and use it, will actually make probably the biggest impact on how much money you guys will actually make. So daily structure, right? When you're starting out, I think that starting out is under 50 grand a month. In my opinion, more people make a huge mistake of waking up and jumping into client work than anything else, right? Like I think that the biggest mistake I see people make is hopping in and hopping on a computer, going straight into emails and going into client fires and letting that suck their whole day away. And it usually comes from a place of fear of losing the clients or fear of doing wrong by them or whatever else it might be. Right? In my experience, I've not seen too many people like die on a deathbed because of an ad account that's gone down or because what they wanted to or something like that. It's actually okay to not respond to them until you're done with the things that drive your company. You have permission to do that, and you have permission to actually focus on the things that are actually going to drive your business, your life, and what you want forward. I think more people make the mistake of just jumping straight into client work because of that may very well just be the way that they think about things, but they're typically not thinking about how to actually make the most money, which is in most cases why you guys are here. It also changes in between people that you hire, and there's also intent of periods of time. So what I mean when I say that as an example is that when you guys are 0 to 50 grand a month, like sure, we're focused on prioritizing getting money, but I think a huge mistake a lot of people make is that they prioritize getting money, but don't prioritize on stacking cash reserve in their actual bank. One of the reasons why I want to bring this up is, truthfully, if I can share like a legitimately honest story with you guys, like this company wouldn't be here right now if I hadn't spent so much time focusing on like building up actual nest egg in my bank account before I decided to bring on team, or before I decided to actually spend into things that, more marketing or whatever else that it is. Like I deeply prioritize getting money in the bank and having runway for at least 6 months before I made any other move. I think the only thing that I kept on board for myself was the coach that I had at the time, purely based on the fact, like, I just needed to know what not to do and what to do to get my bank account to a point where it made a lot of sense for me to be able to bring a team on, because I could afford it. I could afford for it to go wrong, and I could afford to lose the money as well. Because in most cases, whenever you're investing in a lot of things, you'll typically lose more money in the beginning than you will gain, because you typically lack your skill, habits, or your own people that you hire, or the vendors that you hire may not be the best, and what you actually have to learn skill wise with your process of selection and who you hire to help you out with certain things as well. So two of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is like, you get money, right? That's the idea. You don't get money with the intent of stacking an absolute dickload of cash in the bank account, so that you have that little bit of security and can make some more risky moves, and can actually accelerate things at a faster position. If I can give anyone a piece of advice, that's probably one of the biggest things that I'll focus on for all stages of business too, right? Like, just fucking always look at stacking cash. There's going to be points in time where you have to have low profit for investing into the company, and you always want to make sure that you have a shitload of money to fall back on if need be, because there are points in time where you may have a decline in revenue. Now your expenses are above what you were initially expected to come in because of the whole bunch of churn or whatever else that it might be as well. And I think that the only people who can make it through in situations like that are the people who actually have intentionally built with the intent of making sure that they have runway for, my best is 6 months at least, right? And that's runway for like the team, any advertising, if you guys do any, your own personal stuff, and just covering off everything. And so it's not just like your personal expense, but it's also personal, your team, and any additional operating costs that you guys might ensue as well. I would have like 6 months of a minimum of that before you decide to bring a whole lot of craziness in as well, right? And I'm like really big on this for you guys, because if you aren't focused on that, I see more companies fail as a consequence of that than anything else. And I've experienced some revenue backslides, and the only way through it is because of the cash reserves. It always goes back up and start making more of the right moves again. What very rarely ever happens is your conviction and confidence goes back up at the same rate that it would if you had cash in the bank to be able to support yourself through the process of decline, to go back into a reclaim season, if you want to call it that, right? So I just thought I would share that with you guys. Now, in the earlier stages, 0 to 50 grand, I think that most people just don't spend anywhere near enough time actually doing sales activities per day. Like for me, and like I'm doing about 3 or 4 hours of sales activity a day myself right now, just because we're trying to get more cash in as well. Even though like we're above this, it's just trying to get more cash in. And for me, like I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, right? Like I want 6 hours of my day focused on either producing calls or taking calls, producing calls or taking, right? Like I typically wake up at around 6 a.m. I will typically go for a 30 to 90-minute walk, sometimes listening to someone much smarter than I am, podcast, or in some cases, it's just in silence, just thinking through what my plan for the day is, or something to the effect of that as well. You know, this morning I had to do it in silence because I had some problems that I had to sort of work through myself this morning, and ended up using that time while I was walking to solve some of them as well. And it makes a huge difference, because for me, if I can get up and I can get that oxygen into the system and the blood pumping and moving, I typically make better decisions through the day. I think more people would benefit from doing a 30-minute walk in the morning than the coffee, than the trains, purely because like your blood's rushing, getting enough oxygen, make better decisions, right? I tend to find that if I don't do that, my days are shitter. My days are much less enjoyable, and I typically don't have as sharp of a brain if I don't at least get up and go for a walk around the block at the absolute least. And I think it's an oxygen thing, if I'm entirely honest. The uninterrupted focus work is the thing that I want to get into next. So like, this could be anything. It could be
a project you're working on. It could be, developing new stuff for your offer. It could be developing fees. It could be developing something that you need to, deliver for clients or whatever else, right? That, and then content writing are the things that I typically do that are like really high priority, not absolutely and entirely urgent for me to do. I typically tend to try and do before I start my sales activities and sales call, because I want to make sure that when I hop into that, I've got nothing in the back of my brain that's like pending, that's going to prevent me from being able to execute and do really well on those calls. In some cases, that uninterrupted focus work may be actual preparation for the, right? Where it's like, you might be going through the sales training, you might be looking through a script, you might be reviewing past calls or something to the effect of that too, right? That's like the type of stuff that I'll be doing in the uninterrupted focus work area. Something that I would actually suggest, depending on the stage of things that you guys are doing right now, is like in your first six, like for me, it's 6 a.m. until the 9 a.m. period of time, is like, especially if you guys are looking at growing the company pretty heavily, like I would add in some time to be focused on looking over your existing client testimonials with the intent of being able to just re-solidify what good work you do in the world right now. So when you do get into sales activities, you don't get that, well, am I good enough? Like feeling that you may experience, you get sidetracked by something you couldn't have expected in the first place, right? Huge, something I do every day. I always check over our testimonials chat. I'm always trying to like resell myself on why what we do is fucking amazing and why it's a privilege for me to be able to do it. And when I don't do that, I'm typically just more negative. I feel like I want to do the work less. And I feel like it's more of a burden to do a bunch of that stuff, like sitting there and have to mess people up, have to take sales calls, whatever else it is. But sit there and actually absorb myself in the testimonials and go, oh shit, like we actually do a really good job. I really enjoy doing this. It's a privilege to do it. I'm typically happy to hop in there and just do the activity and actually take the call, then like go through the process of like visualizing how the person I'm speaking to a messenger right now, or the next person I'm about to hop on a call with, I can help the exact same way that I helped, Devin or Anthony or Heath in the past month. And I was like, oh shit, that person I'm speaking to is just like me. And if I get that person on the call, like I know I can help them with the exact same issues that you're experiencing. There's a consequence of my conviction and my commitment to actually help that person goes through the fucking roof. My certainty is that because I keep feeding myself with proof of stuff we've done with people who are just like them. And I typically have a high close rate. I typically want to do the work more. I typically make more money in that content. Just some additional thoughts to go through in that content. As for like 9 until 3, like it's, if you'll notice, like it's not until 3 p.m. that I say look at client success or looking at client campaigns. The reason that I say that is because I typically split my week stuff different than I do my day. So as an example, this structure might be 4 days a week. And then 1 to 2 days per week, I flip it. And it's client success and everything for 2 days a week for the 6 hours a day. Right? I like the 4 to 6 hours a day. So it's like, if I'm working 6 days, which truthfully, if you guys are at this stage, I would be working 6 days, but just have the Sunday for family or recovery or whatever else, at least like a half day on a Saturday, an absolute least, just to set yourself up to win on Monday is typically the rationale behind it. And even like an hour on a Sunday to prep for your Monday or week so that you walk into the week prepped to win is like a real high performance habit, but I just don't think enough people are taking consideration. But I only have the hour or two of client success and campaign stuff in here because there's 1 to 2 days per week where it's like whole day focus from it. And the idea is that this is maintenance and doing things that would drive campaigns or drive client interactions or drive anything to do with the client along for those 4 days where you're focused on just getting money in the bank. And then for the other days, it's maintenance on sales activities, right? But like on a day where it's client success stuff, it might be, okay, cool. I hop back into Messenger and follow up with the people that are in. Or I hop back into the call that I have scheduled for tomorrow and make sure that they're actually going to show up. Or I do a little bit more outbound to make sure that when I do get in my sales activity day again, which is probably very likely to be the day after, I've got more people to follow up with first thing in the morning. So the reason why I have them split is because this is how it should look like in a day if you're focused on sales activities with a small period of time in client success. And then on a week's scale, if you look at it in that context, It's almost the same. You just want more of your week focused on sales activities than it is client success campaign. At the stage of business that you're in right now, with the rational reason behind that being, you just want to focus on growing your company more. Then, like, yes, you should focus on growing your clients' companies, but I have this core belief: if you go out of business, you're no good to your clients anyway, right? They need you to focus on growing your company, because if you don't, then you aren't there to help them scale this, right? Just the core belief that I have in mind. And you got into this business to grow your company and change your life, give your family what you want, give your family what they deserve, and give your family what they need. So focus on your fucking business. Prioritize getting money, right? Like, I just think most people aren't spending enough hours a day trying to generate activities, like trying to generate calls or clients, right? I think that you might possibly, okay, cool, but like that might take you 90 minutes to do. But what isn't happening then is the other 3.5 hours of managing those conversations, following up with people, and committing to booking calls with people on a daily basis as well. So, like, I think in many cases, we can find ourselves in a position where we end up only doing half the job and thinking that we've done the full thing, right? Because some of them we need to reach out to a certain amount of people, when in reality, that's just like teeing off at hole one of a 9-hole game that we're going to play. And we still need to get through holes 2 through 9 for us to be able to actually get the call and close them as well. And that's typically done in the other 3.5 hours where you're pushing conversation along and actually getting people to a call, or taking the call that you have booked so far already. And I just think most people aren't putting enough hours in and aren't putting enough responsibility into the actual energy, effort, and time to be able to actually get those people to the call and to actually paying you money and staying a client of yours. The reason we do this as well is, like, as I suggested, we need to make sure that you don't end up being a statistic where you end up having too many expenses and not enough cash to be able to support it on the months where things do go down, because it does happen. Too many horror stories. I've been one of them. And I'm just grateful that we had the cash to be able to support it, because if we didn't, I would have been out of business. So the idea here is, like, we want to, like, set cash and then take things off your plate that actually preventing you from spending more time actually talking to clients. So actually trying to get clients or talk, right? But like 8 to 10K is kind of the place that I'd get a VA. You know, realistically, 8 to 10K is only like 5 clients. You can manage all of that stuff yourself. The virtual assistant is just sort of there to, like, help with growing the audience, setting up client campaigns, possibly setting up the onboarding forms for clients, going through their answers, letting them into certain groups or portals. Like, anything that isn't like a revenue generating activity, take off your plate. I'm okay with people getting one as little as like 5K per month. But I typically see where it's the most useful, because you can get someone to do like 15 hours, 20 hours per week, because you have enough stuff happening, is around the 8 to 10K per month mark. I think that's sort of the place where I see most people needing it, because there's so much stuff that can be done. You also want to have enough hash to be able to do it, but this is at a high, and it's only going to be like 8 per month. That. The next thing I would do is I was focused on getting a CSM for yourself. Anywhere between 25 to 30K per month, you've probably got anywhere between 10 to 20 clients. 15 to 20 is probably more accurate. The idea here is that at that stage, you guys are probably in a position where you have a decent enough client success process based on what you guys have been doing in this year. You guys can document it and bring someone in to take over a lot of the active client communication, or at least the daily conversation with them while you're working on strategy with them high level. Or if it's coaching stuff, that could be like the coach for them, or if it's campaign stuff, it's running the campaign conversation with them. We want to buy your time back again, so you can focus more on the actual client success, the getting clients and marketing the success of the clients that you currently have, right? So, like, we want you to spend more time, you know, still speaking to clients, still doing, like, you guys see that I will still reach out to speak to you guys, and I'll still hop into the chat and be there as frequently as humanly possible. And it's like, the reason behind that is so I can make sure that you guys are getting what you were promised, have everything that you need, answer questions that the other team can't, or find out areas that you can train the team in, and also be able to look for opportunities for marketing. How can we communicate how the market should be envious of the clients we currently have because of the results that you guys are getting, or talk about the things that aren't working, or talk about things are working in marketing, so that we can attract more people. and I can go back into sales, communicate that stuff, have more confidence, conviction from stuff that's happening with you guys right now on calls that we are taking externally with people who are new coming in as well, because I know what's happening when, and know that when I hop back on those calls, like I'm so confident that like the team's going to crush it, that we have a process to be able to support this person coming in right now. And I can get back out there and, sell more metal for like a better terminology, if that makes sense. Now you've got a V8 and CSM to do that. You should have cash in the bank. You should I will probably be looking to have at least this might cost you 4 to 6 grand a month. This might cost you 800 to 1200 a month. So you're only looking like expense wise, like maximum probably 10K a month. So you probably want cash reserve wise, like probably in and around the 30 to 50 grand to ensure that you can, worst case scenario, happen, fall to the wayside and be able to sustain any dips in revenue, which wipe up that cash. Once we've got them in play and we're selling the metal a significant amount more, because you've been marketing the result and because you've been marketing the way you want to do things really effectively, now we want to focus on get a setup to manage the lead flow you currently have. So the time where you are spent here, sales activities, it can just be you can be focused on sales calls, right? You can buy your time back again. Now that you've worked out how to produce more lead flow, now that you've worked out how to actually help get a lot more opportunity inbound for yourself with the uplinking stuff that we show you and with the free conversion strategies that we show you guys in content and messenger as well. Now you guys can just spend these hours actually taking calls with people and training the team, right? Like we want you guys to take 2 to 3 sales calls per day that is set sets for you that you get to give them feedback on how to get better sets in place. And you guys can bring them to chat with us to get feedback on whatever opportunities that it might be as well. But the idea here is get someone on board to get you more time back to sell more metal. And in between 50 to 100K per month, the day's structure kind of changed. It kind of looks like wake up, in uninterrupted focus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But 9 a.m., make sure your team's all good. Make sure they have everything they need so that for the rest of the day, they can step up the campaigns or coach your clients or get out there and win more opportunities, for clients to stay and, retain, upgrade, upsell, and possibly with your setup, how can you put a game plan in place to actually make sure that they can get more wins on the board really early on so you can count it up and crush more opportunities that day as well. The idea is we just want to have you have 2 points per day where you're checking with your team. Once early in the morning to make sure that they have everything they need. Once in the afternoon to see how things went so far today and to figure out what needs to happen to actually move the ship forward, if you want to call it that way, in that con. I still have a similar structure to this where it's some days client success, some days sales focused, but it changes where a lot of my energy and effort is focused on the team as opposed to the actual sales calls or actual client communication in particular. Typically above 100K is where you get the focus just on the stuff, but I would still take some sales calls to ensure that quality is there and it's not a huge issue that needs to happen in and around the marketing side. But this is how I typically structure my days in a different way. Now, if you'll notice in all of them, the 3 things that stay true across every day. Now, the first one is that we want you to do what's called a loop closing scroll. An open loop is something where I say, fucking, purple elephant, and don't say anything about a purple elephant for the next 5 minutes. You can go, what? This guy said purple elephant. And the reason I said purple elephant is X, Y, Z. It's I'd opened a loop. You think about a purple elephant. And then until I close that loop, your brain's fucking stuck. Why did he say that? Right. And I think that each day our brain has a loop that if we don't close before we finish for the day, we are not present for our family. We are not present for our partner. We are not present for ourselves to be able to decompress and, actually live a little bit better. And for me, loop closing is I literally scroll through Messenger and just who is it that I need to follow up with? Who is it that I need to make sure that we can actually, confirm a call for tomorrow? Who can I push forward to call? What client needs something from a different price? What does the team member need? And what didn't get done today that I could spend 6 minutes doing right now that will make sure that I'm set up for tomorrow in a much better way, right? It's closing all the loops. I typically do it by like brain dumping first. Think, well, what didn't get done today? Administration stuff or training team or whatever the hell it is. Like, cool, close those loops. Make sure that we have people who are looking for tomorrow confirmed, and make sure that we have all the people who are in Messenger who are pending for a booking call, that we're getting them like across the line before we finish the day. Because in many cases, a lot of the reason why people don't book in earlier is because we didn't push them into the whole quicker and earlier on. The other thing is brain dump priorities and goals for the next day. I think everyone should be looking at their day for the next day and planning it the night before. A great book for this is The Perfect Day Formula by Craig Ballantyne. Essentially, the whole premise of it is like, you should be looking at your day like a run sheet, the movie would go along. So it's like, cool, at 5 a.m., there's this, then this, then this, then this, then this, if they're on a movie set, and they know what lines they're going to be speaking, and they know what they're going to be filming that day, because it's all scheduled and ready to go on. You can live your life like that movie if you have your day scheduled out effectively. You can prepare and plan for the next day so that you don't get blindsided. You can reset your goals so you can actually get significantly more work done, and just be so much more focused on actually crushing the shit that you need to as well. I do that every day. I like doing it on a pad more than I do digitally. I just find that actually writing it down and spending that time doing that just makes me commit to it better, and I can start visualizing what that would look like. If there's a problem to solve, I can start considering how I'm going to solve that problem tomorrow. And then my unconscious, a lot of the work doesn't show up perform when it's time to perform as well. After that, gym, dinner, chill with wifey, bed, get to bed at a normal time. Don't be a fucking idiot. Like, don't stay up until 2 a.m. trying to be a hero, right? Like, get to bed early, get up and get your shit done, right? Your prospects typically not going to be getting the best version of you if you aren't well rested as well. This is so fucking important. And I think most people aren't putting into consideration how much water you should be drinking on a daily basis to actually perform really well, and how much going to the gym and going for that walk in the morning make a huge fucking difference. Sometimes I may, after lunch or whatever else it is, I might go for another walk just to reset. Am I on task for the day today? Am I, moving? Have I progressed toward the things that we said that we would get done last night when I put that stuff together? If I haven't, what needs to happen? If I have, what can I celebrate? What can I suggest that was a win? How was that moved us forward quicker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this structure should get you to 100 grand a month pretty fucking quick. After that, your day's gonna be a little bit more fluid, right? Like, I probably wouldn't hire a sales rep for you guys at 100 grand a month. Reasons being, like, you don't have a validated sales process typically until you've closed at least 20 to 30 clients. Reason being is, like, it's just so hard to get it right. If you guys have never built a sales process, there's a lot of nuance, script changes with a lot of objection handles. And it's really hard to have a playbook that a sales rep can walk into your company and actually crush and win really early on and really quickly. If there isn't a playbook that has the right objection to overcome, the right way to position and pitch the offer, and understanding as to how to work with certain different types of leads that come in because of the different buyer awareness, independent of how well you're marketing, they're still going to have a different archetype of work they're dealing with. It's just like, it's just so fucking hard to actually get all that stuff right until you close this in amount of clients and you have the data and you have the example to show a sales rep to come in. And honest to God, because like, you can turn marketing on and do whatever you want, but the person doesn't have like clear playbook and how to win. They're just not going to, right? Like, you can take someone from the Chicago Bull who is unbelievably strong A player and put them onto a team where they do not have the coaching, the support, and the systems and the playbook that they did at the Bull, and they could be an A player going to a D player, and you can get killer sales rep. But if they don't have the right structure in play, like, they're gonna fail. And that was your fault, and you really don't want that to happen. I had that happen. I had to let reps go. I felt like a fucking idiot. That's why I want to work with you guys so deeply on actually getting this shit done right. Build the playbooks, make sure you actually have the lead flow, make sure that the thing they're getting to, i.e. prospect, before they get to them is like pre-sold as much as humanly possible. Because if they can't make the money that they want, they're not going to fucking stay, right? Like, you want to give them an actual career opportunity within your company, not just a opportunity to make you money, right? Like, if you want them to make you money really long term, you need to be focused on actually setting them up to make the most money and live the life they want at the highest level as well. If you don't, unlikely they're going to stay with you. They'll go to the next opportunity where they will be able to make the money and where the person actually gave a fuck enough for them to actually get the life outcomes that they wanted as a consequence of using your business as a vehicle to achieving that, because you guys are on the same page in multiple different ways. I also would probably suggest that like you probably don't want to bring a sales rep on until you have like 100 grand in the bank. Seriously, right? Like you want to expect there to be a revenue dip because they very likely will close better than you in time, but you have to expect there's going to be a dip in new sales. I like working really deeply on building up monthly recurring to mitigate that. However, you still want to factor in some possible revenue dips for at least a couple of months while you're getting a good rep in to actually scale up. And who says the first rep's going to be the right rep? It might take you 3 or 4 to actually find one really good. If that does decrease, you can find someone much quicker and much better if you have the right playbook in place, which does not happen once you have all that stuff that I suggested earlier, moving it in and around there. When you get to this stage, though, you can spend more time in uninterrupted focus work on projects, i.e. do your things you want to focus on, less time actually dealing with a lot of the day-to-day stuff, but you have you doing that and you have Rex selling in it, you have team taking over a lot of your client communication. You can be in there just like driving the mission forward, driving the vision forward, and getting the team to a position where they can make what they want as a consequence of working with you. This is the different ways I would structure my days in different stages of business. And for point in time, I would be focusing on stacking cash, stacking cash, stacking cash, stacking cash. Not doing that puts you guys at huge major risk of losing it all, right? And I don't want that for you guys. I think you guys deserve way better than that. And the more cash you can get in the bank and build it up to a point where you guys can sustain some months that are going to go down, because they will happen. You're not Superman. You are going to have months do go backwards. The behavior changes, the life circumstance, things that might happen. I would just focus on getting the mother money and focusing so much of your day on actually getting you money every single day, and then delivering on the promises that you made to people every single day as well. That's the 2 biggest things that I focus on. That's what I would do if I were trying to crush things in this context. So hope that's helpful. I'll trap the actual SOP in there for you guys too. And if you guys have questions, I really wanted to give you guys an insight there today. So was that helpful for you guys? Yes, it was.
Hey, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope it was tactical enough for you. I hope the scripts help, and I hope you actually get everything you want out of it. Now, if you are a high ticket business owner and you would like to learn how we are helping our clients build 100K per month businesses, $1 million businesses, agencies, consulting companies, et cetera, and fix the main 3 points that most people are suffering with inside the business right now, which is volume of calls not being high enough, quality of calls not being high enough, those calls not converting, and then not having the right systems and procedures to get yourself out of the day-to-day and have good team come in. I want you to go and check this training out. It's the first thing to actually click on below. It is a step-by-step training on how we're actually helping clients fix those 3 problems, i.e. getting the right people on call, getting enough call volume for them, with people who know who you are, know what you do, actually trust you, and you can actually see the step-by-step content that we use, the actual scripting, and the actual way to pre-convert people before they get to a call as well. Watch it, implement, build $1 million business, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.